Good morning, coders. Good morning from wherever you are. I know you come from different parts of Kenya. Most welcome to today's session. Okay, fantastic. Sorry, I just got a notification that my internet is not stable. I know why. Let me just rectify that. Great. So, good morning once again, and most welcome to today's session. I'm super excited to do a recap of what we did in the CSS session last week, and then dive into the things we agree that you're going to do, plus some additional things, some additional practical knowledge. And then from there, we're going to, to make sure that we continue with CSS and we see what next. So we have a few sessions remaining, like 2 or 3, and then from there we'll dive into project development. That is ideation, and then from ideation we go to projects. So when we get there, our sessions won't be live anymore. We won't be going live, but we would just be discussing privately here at Zoom, so that you have the confidence to share your ideas, and we can even have what I can say is we can even have a brainstorm session, local brainstorm session, but virtual. So I'm really happy about that. So yeah, let us begin. Let us do a recap of what we did in the previous session. So in the previous session, we were talking about CSS, and we looked at how CSS is written. And in CSS, let me just share my a whiteboard. Great. So text, yeah. So let us just recap first so that we understand what we are dealing with, so that we understand the depths of CSS. Great. So there is one, okay. Oh yeah, you guys are saying we should do a recap. Yeah, we should do what we said last week. Yes, I'm going to do that in a short while. But don't worry, I'm just doing a recap first, and then from there we dive into what we agreed. Okay, we're just doing a recap first, and then we dive into what we agreed. Fantastic. So we discussed about CSS, and we said CSS is what we call cascading style sheets. And cascading style sheets, these are unavoidable because you're going to use cascading style sheets to make sure that you style your websites. Even these prominent websites are using cascading style sheets. So that is one thing I would need you to always remember, because you can't avoid cascading style sheets. And the better you understand it, the easier it is for you to, the better you understand it, the easier it is for you to just make sure that you create beautiful sites to your liking. Sometimes it can be even a recommendation from the way that it can be an inspiration from a particular site. So be prepared to maybe recreate that as we go along. So those are tips that I would really encourage you to master, because with CSS, you are able to create sites that are custom to your liking, or to recreate a site. It can be even a site that is not written in CSS, but you are able to recreate it. So let us dive in and discuss what the types of CSS that we learned the other time, and be able to just go ahead and make sure that we try again creating and continue learning about CSS. So we learned about 3 types of CSS. What are those? Just type in the comments. We learned about 3 types of CSS, and I would love to hear from you. What are those? What are those types of CSS? Just put in the comments, and then I will discuss the syntax and then continue. The types of CSS, guys? Fantastic. Yes, yes, Harriet, inline CSS. Thank you. Christabel as well, inline CSS. I love that. Emily, you've listed them all. That is fantastic. Inline CSS, internal CSS, external CSS. Fatima, internal CSS. Thank you. Harriet, internal CSS. Virginia, external, inline, internal. Correct. This is awesome, guys. We have also Angel, inline, internal, external. Salha, Vasha, Fatima, external. Yes, correct, guys. Mwanasiti, thank you. Also Dorka, that is awesome. External, that is awesome. This is fantastic. So yes, there are three types of CSS, and we are going to just have a brief of the three. Of course, we have inline, and we said the syntax or the rules are you make sure that within the opening tag, for example, this is a style, element hyphen name, you put a space bar. Then when you put a space bar, you add a style attribute. You add a style attribute. I want you guys to be really familiar with this term so that whenever you are going or whenever you explain something, you really know what you are doing. Okay? So this is what we did. And then you put a style attribute equal marks, two quotations, and then inside that is when CSS starts from there. That's when you start working with CSS from there. So for example, you put property one, full colon, value one, semicolon, property two, full colon, value two, semicolon, like that. And then, of course, you close the opening tag of that element name, put the element wordings inside, and then close the element in HTML, okay? Like that. I'm used to autocomplete, but don't worry. So that is inline CSS, okay? That is inline CSS. Now, we discussed about internal CSS. Internal CSS. We discussed about internal CSS, okay? And we discussed that the syntax is you make sure that within the head of HTML, okay? Within the head of HTML, make sure that you open what we call a style tag like that. And then inside the style tag, you're going to have what we call selectors, okay? So this is now going to be a question to you. There were three types of selectors. Yes, there are three types of CSS selectors. Of course, there are other major ones as we go ahead because you'll find that there are some selectors which are combined. There are some selectors which are, special. So yes, yes. Kindly let me know the types of selectors that you remember. Oh, fantastic. So Wendy, ID, correct. Class, element. That is awesome. Harriet, Christabel. Wow, Virginia, you've listed them all. That is fantastic. So bear in mind about those types of selectors. And element selector, of course, CSS knows that the moment you write H1, that is an element. So that is a selector that will affect all heading ones that will occur in that document, okay? But in case you don't want that, you want only a specific section, that's when you use classes and IDs. That's when you use classes and IDs. IDs are rather very specific, that are specific to a particular section or a particular entire section. But class, you can put them in a group of elements, okay? So I'm really happy that you guys remember that. Element, class, ID, selectors. Great. So having recapped that, I want us to discuss a couple of things. And you guys have reminded me, thank you so much. Wendy, Angel, and also there was someone who reminded me about colors. Let me scroll. Yes, Salha. Yes. And also Virginia. And yeah, Salha, Virginia. Thank you, guys. You guys reminded me that we are supposed to discuss colors today. So let me mention external CSS because it's rather the same. It's rather the same. So before we touch the assignment and start manipulating the assignment, I want you to open your Sublime text from where the index.html was in the previous session, from where the index.html was. So I'm going to stop sharing my whiteboard, and then I'm going to share my, what is it? Yeah, Sublime text and my Mozilla. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, I want you to open where we created our index.html. I know there is a document that there is that assignment that you guys had, but no, I just wanted to open first this the one that we did, the one that has tables, that initial file that we started to know what HTML is, what web development is. The moment you open that, just let me know in the comments, and then we can just dive in to continue. Just open that, and then we can dive in to continue. Oh, fantastic. Oh, Jen, thank you so much. That is awesome. Anyone else who's done? Oh, Virginia, you're in. That's fantastic. Fatma, you are done. That is awesome. Keep on finding your files. Open Sublime Text and find it. Eunice, Fatima, well done. That is awesome, guys. Sharon as well, you are done. Harriet, that's fantastic. Wow, Christabel. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Beatrice, it's awesome to hear from you today. Dorka, you opened also. That is fantastic. You've opened the file. That is awesome. Oh, great. Great. Let us proceed. I'm glad that most of you have located your files. Now, one thing worth mentioning is whenever you are, whenever you're doing or dealing with external CSS, okay, you have to know that it is rather the same concept with internal CSS. The only freedom, or why would we be doing external CSS? Yet internal CSS would have just done the job. You might be asking yourself. So the reason is the reason as to this is because as we grow, or as our websites grow, you are able to, as our websites grow, you're able to need a couple of CSS styles, okay? Sometimes you might be needing a style that handles colors only, or a style that handles padding only, or margin alone. So you might be separating this. You might be separating this from the other normal stylings. So you might be in a position that you need a particular CSS file, that single CSS file, to effect in multiple pages, okay? You might be needing that. So if you need that, for example, then it is recommended to use an external CSS rather than an internal CSS, whereby you go and copy and paste again. You go and copy from the internal CSS style tag in the head and paste there again. It is cumbersome. So let us try the external CSS. It's really the same. So here in the coders folder there, I hope you've opened the folder the way I have done mine. So you're going to right click there at the folder section, click new folder, click new folder. And then the folder name, you're going to call it CSS and press enter. Or if you find this rather daunting, you can go to your file explorer where you have the index.html, then create a new folder from there and call it CSS. That is where our images folder is, and that is where our video folder is as well. Great. So, okay, you're saying that I come again, Sharon. Right click. I hope when you are opening a Sublime, it opened the folder. But if not, make sure that you have opened the folder. That is File, Open Folder, and then open where the folder containing your project is. But if not, you can. If you've opened the file and it's like this, just make sure that you right click, then click New Folder, and then in that new folder, type CSS and then press enter. It's going to create a folder called CSS, so that you have a new folder there called CSS that is alongside images and video. Fantastic, Sharon. I'm happy you've got that very quickly. Great. Now in that CSS folder, click on it again and then right click and then choose new file. New file. Okay? And then when you choose new file, and this file you're going to save it first. You're going to save it first. So you can Control S from your keyboard, or you can click File, Save As. I always like using shortcuts. It saves you time. So File, Save As. Who has time to find this? Yeah, and then here you're going to call it style, but don't forget .css. The way we are writing HTML, don't forget .css. Style.css. Style.css, then save. Make sure that you've called it style.css. Let me know if you're done with that. Then from here, it's going to be easy breezy. Style.css. Let me know if you guys have reached there. Fantastic. So Dorka, you're lost. Where are you? We've not even started really. Just let us know penye umefika. You can even unmute and speak. Let me know, guys, if you're done and created a style.css file. Let me show you. Go ahead, sorry.
On my side, when I open the CSS, when I click, I don't have an option to save as.
When you right click on the file.
From the folder. Oh, so I open from Sublime.
Yes, you can open, the folder you can create from either Sublime or you can create from the File Explorer. Let me show you how you can also create from File Explorer in a short while. But the moment you've created the folder, you click on that, right click on that folder and then click New File, okay? After you click New File, it opens something like this. You can either use a shortcut Control S. It is going to save in that CSS folder, or you can make sure that you navigate and make sure that it saves in that CSS folder that you just created, and then type there style.css like that.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Let me know. Do that and then let me know. So Dorka, I'm still waiting for your feedback. You can feel free to unmute.
Oh, I've seen, you've explained for Nani and then I've understood.
Fantastic. I'm happy about that.
Excuse me.
Yes, please, Eunice.
I'm stuck somewhere. I'm not understanding how to my my, what's the thing
Sublime.
called? Sublime text. Yeah, my Sublime. I've opened a fresh page, but when I try to follow the steps you've advised, it still doesn't change the title like yours. Like it shows style.css. Mine is just untitled. Kindly help.
Okay, so let me ask you, are you in a position to share your screen?
Okay, I don't know how to share.
No worries. There is a green, let me stop sharing first. There is a green button at the bottom of Zoom. Let me stop, allow you to, yeah, there is a green button at the top bottom of Zoom, okay? It is written share screen at the bottom. Are you able to see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, click on it.
Okay. Oops.
Yes, yes. Yeah?
I
Oh,
don't know.
fantastic.
Hello.
You've shared.
No, that's not.
Oh, that's not your
That's not my
screen.
screen.
Oh, that is Sharon's.
No.
So let me stop Sharon's sharing. Go ahead. Yeah, but don't worry. Oh, Jane, you
Hey,
asked.
I really don't know.
Go ahead. There is that
Boy, I
green
don't know
button.
if this is how it's done.
Okay, it's starting
Is
to
this
share.
the way it's done?
Oh, I'm now able to see your screen. Great. Sasa.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah.
Oh,
Now.
fantastic. Sasa umefungua new files mara kadhaa, which is okay. So you can click, yeah, that is okay. That is okay. So you can click on in that one of the untitled, and you can untitled, it means that it's not saved. Sindio? So you can click on file at the top there. File.
Here, file.
And then save as.
Okay.
Yeah. Hiya. Now we have images folder created. Oh, you've already created CSS folder there, Cindy. So open that folder. Click on that folder in your Umeita CSS.
Yes.
Yes. Double click on it. Ifungue the folder. And then as a file name, call it style.css. Though I can see that the folder already has a style.css in it. When you hover on it, I'm able to see style.css in it already. Are you there, Eunice? Eunice? Oh, so you created another folder. Okay, I'm able to see your problem, Eunice. You created another folder called style.css. No, we're not creating a folder. You're creating a file. So make sure that you can kindly share again if you're there, Eunice. Kindly share so that we go with external CSS with a fresh mind. So let me know if you're still there. We'll be patient with you. Okay. Eunice, just let me know. Please let me know. We want to give up so that you catch up. We don't want to leave you behind. Okay, now, in the comments, I can see we have, okay, Justin Baraka, say you just following up though you're in class. That's risky, but awesome. That is awesome. And then Sharon, after her, can I share? Yes, Sharon, go ahead and share your screen. Fantastic. So it is style.css. Hebu open the CSS folder, double click on that CSS folder. Yes. So hapo kwa file name, it is style, malizia tu .css. Style.css. Fantastic. Save. Yeah, click on save. Hapo chini kwa, there is a save, hapo chini, hapa chini kuna save cancel. After you save as type, file name, save as type, yes, save. Fantastic. So you have the style.css there, and it is inside the CSS folder. Sawa. So let's go back to our index.html. You are done. Uko sawa. So Eunice, are you able to do that? I don't want to leave you behind. Please let us know.
Yes, I'm good. Yes, I'm good. My internet just went up and down, but I'm good. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you as well. Now, so now with the stylings here, it's going to be super easy. So I'm happy that you've managed to do that as well, Sharon. So with the stylings, it's going to be super easy. Let me share my screen again. This one and File Explorer and Mozilla. Yes. Now, it's going to be super easy from here. So this is what I want you to do. Go to that initial index.html where we wrote our style. Don't go to the assignment yet. I want us to do the assignment in the last, to revise that in the last 25 minutes or so. So click on the style, and then here in the body, select everything that is inside the style tag without the style tag itself. Let me repeat. Ensure that you select everything that is within the style tag without selecting the style tag itself, okay? Ensure you even select plus the curly brackets. Select everything, okay? Like that. So that you just leave, we have style and then style, okay? Okay, so Sharon is saying I share my screen. You guys are not able to see my screen? Huh. And I've shared my screen. Let me share again. I don't know what is happening. Share screen. Are you guys now able to see? Oh, fantastic. Thank you for letting me know. Awesome. Thank you guys. Awesome. Now, select the style there, everything that is within the style, plus the last curly bracket without selecting the style tag itself. So it's something like this. Style, you've left it, but you have the body selector, H1, H2, red color, my text, plus the curly bracket that is below, and then copy. Cut, just cut, right click and cut. Cut so that you only have the style there. Right click and cut. Fantastic. So after you've done that, let us now go and paste in the style.css. Go to where style.css is and Control V. Okay, I think mine it cut, but it is not wanting to paste. Control X, then go to style.css, Control V. You'll have something like that. So sometimes I don't like the indentation here. So what I often do is sometimes I select, it's not a must that you do this, I select and then Shift Tab so that it comes closer inwards, but it's not a must. It is not a must that you do that. I am a person who's really particular with my code. So it's something that I just do, but it's not a must, it will still work. It will still work, though not in some languages, but yeah. Fantastic. So save that. And then, save the style.css, make sure that you've saved. So for the index, what you do is delete the style tag so that we see how we can go about it. Delete the style tag like that, and then save. Okay. So this is what we had previously. This is what we had. I hope you can also see my, what is it? My Mozilla page. I hope you can see my Mozilla page as well. So this is what we had in the previous session, and we styled this a little bit. So we've removed that style, and now we want to see what will happen. Of course, if I refresh my screen, it goes back to the initial old boring HTML without styling. So just as we've spoken about making sure that that one is viewed, okay? Before we continue, I can see Eunice, your hand is raised. Kindly unmute.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you just assist me? When you were telling me to close down all the other windows that I had open, one of the windows I had open is the one that had all my works. So I can't copy paste anything. Everything is gone. I don't know where it is. Could you kindly assist me?
Are you able to share your screen?
Where is it?
There is a green button below.
Yes.
Fantastic. So what you can do is just click on File, then open Folder. Yeah. Open Folder. And then navigate to where that coders folder, the entire coders folder is, where you've put your. Okay, I think, I don't know if you're frozen or it is your folder that is frozen, but where is your index? Where your index.html is, the folder. Go to that folder. You can navigate even from the top there. You click on that CSS there at the top. It will go back.
My God, I don't know where it is.
There. Select that folder. This is the correct folder, the coding folder. So at the bottom there, make sure that you've selected folder. Kuna button hapo chini, just where you are. Don't click anywhere else, just where you are. At the bottom there, click on select folder. Sawa. At the bottom. Okay. Okay. No worries. I think what we'll do is I'll try catching up with her after. Fantastic. internet, let me say, sometimes online things. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Great. So after you've pasted in the style.css, save that. We said that when you save it, you are not able to see anything. Cindy, so who knows the reason? So this is what we've done. We've come to style.css, okay? And then in the in the index.html, I mean, where we have the style tag at the head section, removed those styles and pasted here, but it's not showing anymore. So anyone who has an idea of what is wrong and how we can correct that, it can be even in layman's language, it can be in whichever way you think something is wrong, just let me know. Anyone? You can even unmute or you can type in the comments. So Sharon, you're saying, oh, Iro, you're saying there is no link between the two files, correct? Sharon, we haven't called out what to style, I think. That is correct as well. We haven't called this file, okay? Yeah. So Eunice, don't worry, we'll do a recap. And then Mary, you're saying you have to connect externally. Yes. Roughly, you guys have the rough idea of what you're supposed to do, and that is exactly what you need to do. There is no link between these two files, this style.css and this index.css HTML. There is no link between these two files. So how do we create a link? We still come to the head section, okay? We still come to the head section, and in the head section, so Valerie, you're saying, okay, I think there is a great point that you guys, we haven't specified whether it's an HTML. We have actually specified it, and it's a CSS file, okay? And it contains CSS files, but great, child, you really have a gist of what you're talking about. When I sit here saying there is no relationship between the two, yes, we haven't linked it in the index file yet. That is correct. We haven't linked these two because that file is external. It's just like you coming here and putting an image there and you leave it there. Putting an image folder, putting images. You have to link the two. You guys have really made a great attempt and it's correct. So how do we link the two? As a head section, maybe after or before the title, you can create what we call a link tag, link like that. So link is a tag that you only put at the head section here, at the head section. So the moment you see that link tag, click on it so that it auto-completes for you. So we have link, relationship. The relationship is an attribute, rel. Rel is an attribute and relationship is style sheet, okay? Because it is there to style our website. Then the type is text/CSS. Text/CSS. Now for the href, the way we were referencing the image, that is the same way we are going to do here. So the href is going to be like this. We've put in the CSS folder. It depends with the way you've called your folder. If you've called your folder with capital CSS, make sure that you retain or maintain that capital CSS. But if you haven't, if you've called small CSS like mine, it should be small CSS, then /style style.css. Make sure that you call it exactly. So let me repeat. You're going to create a link like that. And the relationship is style sheet, type is text/CSS, href, reference it the way you are referencing your image, okay? So CSS/style.css. Save that, and then when you go back to your browser and refresh, everything should go back to how it was. Let me know if you guys have achieved that so that we can quickly rush to fonts and yeah, and so on. Oh, Sharon, Virginia, done. That is awesome. Are you seeing how simple it is now? It's just the same, but yeah. Oh, Harriet, that is fantastic. I'm happy that you're done. Jane, well done. Anyone else? Wow. Eunice, well done. Mwanasiti as well. Well done. Great. Now, having done this, I just want us to have to now look at colors, fonts, and then we complete that assignment. There is a part that I wanted us to do. And then from there, I'll think of another assignment to conclude this. And that assignment will be the preparation of this other coming one. Now, let us discuss about colors. And also we'll discuss about background in a short while. So in colors, of course, we've learned colors here in Style.css. When you come to Style.css, we learned how to call out colors. And even in your assignment, like in your assignment, you're able to call out this color. And I'm sure some of you are wondering what this is, okay? So in CSS, there are different types of colors, okay? We have RGB types. Let me just try to, yeah, but it's okay. We have RGB, we have what we call hex, okay? Let me just create a new document like this so that I type the RGB. Then we have what we call hex, okay? Then we have what we call HSL. And then we have what we call RGBA. And then we have what we call HSLA, okay? So you don't cram. Let us understand. That is one thing I would really want to encourage you. So in the color, of course, there is a way. Other than this, we've been calling colors by their color names, and these are predefined colors like tomato, my favorite. But we have orange as well, Doja blue, medium sea green, gray, slate, violet, light gray, and so on. We call it by their names. But this is limited. We have up to 100 in CSS, HTML, and CSS support up to 140 standard color names. This is just the color names. I'm not speaking about the types of colors. So the moment you use what we call, RGB, okay? The moment you use RGB, you find that RGB, it specializes on a particular values. That is, it is a combination of 3 values to produce a particular color. So we have red, green, and blue. That is what it means. Red, green, and blue. It's a combination of red, green, and blue to produce a particular color. So, for example, for tomato, if I want to write tomato color in RGB, okay? I will come to that style.css. And then there is that color tomato, okay? So I want you to do that. Delete that tomato and then write RGB. You'll find that it is there. RGB, you press enter. It is RGB, then full brackets. Then we have the red option, green option, and blue option. So for the red part, you type, of course, that replace that 0 with the 255. Then for the blue or green part, RG. For the green part, replace it with 99, and then the blue part, replace it with 71, like that. Okay, that is green, tomato in color. That is tomato. So that is the RGB version of tomato. Okay, it's okay, Mwana City. So that is the RGB version of tomato. So when you save that and you refresh in your browser, you'll be able to see that the colors still maintain the same, okay? So that is the RGB. And there are some, like for example, I always use color picks to know, to select a particular, when I hover on a particular color, it captures the RGB of the color and also the hex of that color, okay? So this is the RGB version of tomato, but sometimes I might want maybe to use hex. I'm going to discuss that in a short while. So we've said we have RGB, but we also have what we call RGBA. And you might be asking, what does that A stand for? Okay, what is that A? So that A, will stand for transparency. I know I'm saying it stands for transparency and there is no relationship between A and T, but A is like alpha. So you are reducing the intensity or the transparency. So that is when you come towards 1, you are opaque, and when you come towards 0, you're transparent, okay? So RGBA, with RGBA, if for example, I add an RGB and then put an A like that, I'll come here and have to add a comma again, and then I can, let's say, put 0.5 so that it is 50% transparent. So that's why online you're able to see some images that have an overlay of a particular color. We'll try that in backgrounds in a short while. Okay, so add A and then put 0.5, save that, and then go to your browser and refresh. You're going to be able to see some change. Yeah, it's like it has reduced in intensity. Okay, so that is RGBA. That is RGBA. Okay. So we HSLA. It is also very similar. HSL, as just mentioned, but so that you don't see it somewhere and then you get confused. But HSL means hue, saturation, and lightness. So it is basically a combination of colors between 0 and 360. This one is in hex. It's actually not in hex. In RGBA, it's 0 to 255. And that is the same concept that our televisions and our CRT televisions in the previous generation of televisions used to use, okay, RGB. But we have hue, saturation, and lightness in which you can determine a color, okay? So with we have of course examples of these colors. For example, if you use HSL colors, or you see someone is using HSL colors, just know that it is a color standard in HTML, and it also has an A, okay? And that A is standing for what we call transparency as well, okay? Now let us discuss about hex. So hex colors, basically we're saying is a hexadecimal color. So it's a combination of letters and numbers that are 6 in them. But you start with a hashtag, the way you created this before. Here, where is it? There is a color somewhere that you guys, yeah, it is in the assignment. Yeah, here. That is a hex color. So it's a combination of letters and numbers that you can randomly combine to create colors, okay? So for example, for tomato, I don't know why tomato is my favorite. Let me use a different color, okay? Let me use, I think, a color, let me use, I think it's purple. So instead of this RGBA, just delete it plus the, plus that. Okay, I don't know why my mouse is misbehaving like that. And then put a hashtag like that, and then type this 6A, 5A, CD, like that. So that is a shade of purple that is really great. Looks good. Yeah. Then when you do that, save that and refresh in your browser. Yeah, you'll be able to see some shade of purple. Okay. 6A, 5A, CD. So basically those are colors. Now in this hex, you can reduce them to 3 values. In case, for example, you see hashtag and only 3 values, it happens if, let's say the red part, of course the hex part, this is the red part, this first 2 is the red part, this second 2 is the blue, the green part, and then the blue part comes last, the last 2. But for example, the color is in a way that it matches. For example, your color is like this. Let me just give you an example. Don't even do this. I'm just showing you FF00, then CC. like this. I don't know which color is this. I'm just giving an example, but it is a color. Yeah. Ew. Yeah, it's really screaming. Anyway, if this one can also be written as F0C, like that. Instead of, especially if these two are matching, you just write as F0C. So when you see this somewhere as you're navigating your learning, don't be surprised. It is still the same color. Yeah, worth mentioning. Great. So let me mention about backgrounds as well. Backgrounds. And with backgrounds, there are particular elements. And okay, this one is, I know I said I'll mention background and as well as mention fonts, but I don't think we have time for fonts. I'll make sure that we do fonts again in the next time. But let me try. We have about 18 minutes remaining, but that's okay. Let me try. So CSS backgrounds. In the background, in CSS background property, it is used to add a background effect in CSS. So we have different background properties. We have background color, we have background image, we have background repeat, we have background attachment, background position, and the background shorthand property. When I say shorthand, is what I was referring to when I gave you your assignment and said not even in the assignment alone, but even in the previous work. I told you to type this border, and then I just told you just type it, because this is property, then it has value, 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 and you might be wondering, but background is the same. Background property can have a shorthand in a way that you can combine color, image, repeat, attachment, and position. So when you do a combination of the two or of the 5 of them, of course, there is an order. So there's no need of you typing background color, comma, background position. You just call the background property as a shorthand and then call it in the order of how you want to display your colors. So let us experiment with a background color. I know we've tried that. We've tried a background color. Okay. Higher. With background color, of course, you can use Rgba here. And that's why I really wanted us to mention colors before we dive into, background image and so on. Great. So let us try what we call background image, okay? Background image. So we'll come to the index.html and then come here and we can create a div somewhere. After the headings, just create a div like this, div, after the headings. And then in this div, we can give it a class. Now we know what classes and IDs are. We can give it class and say BG, BG, IMG. Yeah, class BG, IMG, like that. And then we can copy that so that we call that in the CSS, BG, IMG, and then save this first, and then come to style.css. Let's come to the bottom, dot, like that. Open the curly brackets. Now let's put what we call background image. Now, in the HTML, when we call background image, normally we would call it using, we would just call it using SRC, but hapa vitu zimebadilika. These are different. So you can say background image, as you can see, we have background image like that. So you type URL like that, and then put quotation mark. URL, then quotation mark, and then navigate to where the image is. Now, this is not really straightforward. The moment I type my image like this, it is in the images folder. And then let me pick an image. I really wanted us to do this because this is the part where it really gets confusing. Images, then / we have that fish1 .jpg, like that. This one won't show anything. And the reason is because we have a CSS folder here. And this style.css file is outside the image folder, okay? when I save this, of course, if I go and refresh in my browser, you're not going to see anything after these headings. You're not going to see anything because it has not shown. You have not referenced it properly. And this style.css, the way where you're calling the image is in the outside folder. Okay, so this is what you do. You add a let me start. You add 2 dots and then a forward slash. Okay, so you're telling this file to move upwards from the folder where it is, to move upwards to where the coders folder is, and then that's where it should navigate to images and fish.jpg. When I save this, I come to my browser and refresh. Okay, it's still not showing, but let me go back. Do we have heading 2? Let me make sure that we have that. Where is it? Yeah, BG, IMG. It is end of heading 2. Yeah. So this is what should work. You write 2 full dots and then a forward slash and then images and reference it. Let me know if anyone, if yours has worked as I figure out the issue. Let me know if yours has worked. Okay. Give it a height. Let me give it a height. Width. Let me see if that will work. Okay, that works. If you add a width and height, it works. So this is what you do. Make sure that you add a height and width. That's the only way to make the image work. So just give it a height, for example, of give it a height of 400 pixels, and then a width of, let's say, let's put 90%. So after you're done with that, make sure that you let me know if it works. If you type 2 dots, then images fish1.jpg, it works. Okay? You'll be able to see something like this. Let me know if yours has worked. Come back to my source code. We can even put 100, instead of 90, you can just put 100%, it's still fine. So height 400 pixels with 100%. Let me know if you have managed to do that. We are almost done. Anyone? So Wendy, you're asking, you are supposed to put the 2 dots with the forward slash despite the location of the image. It depends with the location of the image, because we've created a folder called CSS, and we've also created a folder called images. And in that images, we have some files, okay? So inside the CSS, we have style.css, but that style.css cannot access the images folder directly. So that's why we are putting 2 dots and then forward slash images folder. Sawa. So let me know, Wendy, if where the issue is. Hero, I'm happy that you're done. That is fantastic. Anyone else? Wendy, kindly, you can unmute and let me know.
Hi, John. I was just asking because later on after this, I'm going to be redoing everything that you've taught us. yeah, I don't really huwa nangoja umalize kufunza and then I just concentrate. Now, so I was just asking whether like, yeah, nilikuwa tunaulizia like for example my images zinakuanga iko kwa a different location, so nilikuwa naulizia juu ulisema you said the two dots with the forward slash itafanya say isonge juu towards the style.css. So that was my question. Na kama iko like probably 3 or 4 times juu.
Wow, that is a great question. Yes, that is a great observation as well. Sasa, hapa in this case to make a CSS folder kando and then images folder. Let's say inside this CSS, we have a folder called, let's say, style 1, or we can say fast styles. And then inside that folder, that's when you have the style.css. You'll put 2 dots, a forward slash, 2 dots again, and another forward slash so that it navigates upwards. Imagine those 2 dots as navigation upwards. So if you put 2 dots and then a forward slash, it means that it's going to come outside now the CSS folder. It's going to come outside the CSS folder, and that's when you can access the images folder. Sawa. So in case maybe you've placed inside a folder, then inside another folder, you have to do it twice. 2 dots, a forward slash, 2 dots, another forward slash, and then you navigate upwards 2 times. Okay. Yeah, so that is basically the gist, and that is a really great question for us to practice. Great. I'm happy that you've asked that. So Vasha is saying the assignment will be nice. Yes, yes. Of course, I'll make sure that you have an assignment. And this assignment, by the way, it's going to be self-explanatory, very simple, but it's going to make sure that you at least understand background shorthand property. Then you're saying, what if the image is below in another folder? Let's say you've created an image that is in another folder. I mean, it depends. I don't know how maybe you would have called the image. So if it's the image, for example, the image is inside the CSS folder, okay? For example, you have an image inside the folder inside the CSS folder. You don't need to go upwards, okay? You just use the URL and put it directly here. For example, if you have images folder inside CSS, of which I don't recommend, you'll just get confused like that. But if your folder is CSS, or for example, this style.css, you've not placed it in a folder. It's just within the about HTML index. You also do the same. You just reference it directly because it is within the folder. You don't need to go upwards. So you just within the folder, images /fish1.jpg. Okay. Yeah, so that is a really great question. It's a really great question. You can reference your images. And this is one thing I really wanted us to try today. Thank you, Eunice, for that awesome question. And Vasha as well for that recommendation. Great. Now, as you can see, our images are not really, the files are repeating, especially when the width of the image is thin. But we have another property we call background repeat. So by default, the image will repeat itself both horizontally and vertically, depending on the width and the height of the image. If, for example, this image was very thin, it would have repeated itself horizontally. Or now that it's very thick, I mean, it's very thick, the dimensions are more of a square, it repeats itself vertically. So if you want your image to repeat itself horizontally, you say background repeat. You use the background property, background repeat X, so that the image repeats horizontally, repeats in the X axis. Now some little mathematics is coming in, just a little. Okay. And if you want it to repeat vertically, you use the Y, repeat Y. Background repeat should be repeat Y. But if you don't want it to repeat, okay? You don't want it to repeat. You come and use the background repeat, no repeat, okay? So let us try that quickly. Let us try that very quickly. Let us try that very quickly. After background image, I don't know why my text is not overlapping. So that is okay. If maybe your texts are going towards the side, let me mute. Okay, so if your texts are going towards the side like mine, you can click on File, and then there is View, and then Word Wrap. Yeah, I don't like my text disappearing from the other side. Great. So you can say background, repeat. There it is. Background repeat, no repeat, so that it does not repeat. So if you write background repeat, no repeat, and come and refresh, it will just be a background, yes, but fitting at the corner there. So other than that, there is another background property, okay? Okay, there is another background property. Before we discuss background position, we are going to discuss what we call, background size. So let's come here, and then you can say, okay, I don't know why it's not clicking. Yeah, enter. Background size. Okay, and then here we can write cover. Okay, background size cover. Don't worry, guys, we're going to finish in a short while. Background size cover. So when you say cover, it will not only fit itself in that corner, but it will expand in a way that it zooms itself for it to fit the entire width. It zooms the image itself for it to fit in the entire width. Okay. Now, other than cover, we have what we call background position, and it is used to specify the position of the image. For example, when you cover, by default, the image will just put itself, at the center or at the top. It depends with how you put it, but you can say background position. Where is it? Background position. You can add background position and then say, let's say, top, right, top, or top, right, and then space, top, so that it positions the image differently. Let me refresh that. You'll be able to see like the image has been positioned towards the right or top, or you can use center. Okay, you can use center so that the image zooms itself from the center like that. And by the way, background size, we have also what we call contain. I don't like contain in scenarios where the image, because it will contain and okay, I think Gatlin is having trouble with Zoom, muting and unmuting. Yeah, contain, it really contains it depending on the size of the image. And that's why I like cover. Cover will zoom itself. Yeah. So we have center, also we have center, bottom, okay? So these are what we call background position. When it's center, bottom, you'll only see this part at the bottom when I refresh my screen. So it depends with how you want your background to look like. Great, higher. So let me just mention what you call the background shorthand. I used border shorthand accidentally, and you guys were able to see it accidentally without maybe looking at it keenly. But let us try that. Let us try and let us make sure that we try the border, the shorthand. So in the shorthand, you'll be able to specify the entire background properties within a single piece line of code, because there's no need of you typing background color, background image, background repeat. It's too much code. So you can use what you call the background shorthand. So the background shorthand is going to be super simple. You just come here and then type background. Of course, we will delete the ones that are at the top. I just don't want us to forget. Background, use that background as a shorthand property. So of course, with the background, you start with color, but if color is not there, you can start with an image. So you say background URL, and then you put the image. Let me put the image like that. That's why I didn't delete the above code, because I just wanted to make sure that we have yeah, background URL like that. And then you come here, you put a space. And then you can say no repeat. Of course, there is an error because I'm using background again. Then space. We can say, we can now put the background position first, center, center, and then we can put space and then say cover, like that. And then make sure that you delete these ones that are at the top. Okay, okay, I've seen why the error is there. I put 2 quotation marks. No repeat, center, can even say center bottom, and then space, cover, or you can start with cover, I think. So we're going to have a look at that, how it happens. So when I save that and come and refresh in my browser, you'll be able to see that cover is not supposed to be there. So let me delete that, save first, and then come and refresh. Yes, so by default it contains, so we can put cover here, no repeat, center, not center, cover, sorry. Okay, yeah. So what happens when you do that? There has to be an order. That's why it is not working in some situations like this. In this cover, it's not working because there has to be an order, and this is the order. Okay. I think Kathleen is having a trouble, but that's okay. So this is the order. You start with background color, background image, background repeat, and background attachment, then background position. So background size, you'll just have to put it on the side, even if you use a shorthand, okay? So you can write the background size. Yeah, cover. Yeah, so that's the only exception. Like it is not in the shorthand, but shorthand has those 5. You start with color, image, repeat, attachment, and position. Then when you save that and refresh, you'll be able to see your image. Yeah. So we are going to discuss more about how you can put your image, like the background image at the center. I mean, having an image overlay and so on. So I just want to mention one thing. I really wanted us to do fonts, but I will give you as instructions in the assignment. But let me just give you a small overview with the fonts. We have what we call Google fonts. Of course, we've tried local fonts like Verdana and so on. But you might be interested in using Google fonts, and it's at the fonts.google.com. So this is what I'll do. I'll either make sure that you guys, I do a recording so that you can follow how you can do fonts before you do an assignment, or I'll figure out what I will do before I send you an assignment. So Salha, you're saying this needs a lot of practice. Yes, it does. And don't cram, just practice. With the time it sticks, okay? Yeah. So this will be the fonts. This is where you're going to get your assignment. Basically, I'll just do a video on it so that you can just go and watch it later. And then I'll give you an instruction on how you can change the font and use a Google font to add it in your CSS or in your HTML or both. And then you're going to discuss about backgrounds. And then there is a concept I wanted to show you in your assignment. That one I'll do in the next session, or even in this session, and then in that video, and then in the next session, you're going to start with what we call bootstrap. Okay, I hope that is clear. But we have learned quite a lot today, and I'm really happy that you've been able to do so. So expect something to do with this. For example, if you come to Google Fonts, these are free to use, and let's say you like Poppins as a font, how do you embed this font to your source code? How do you embed this? That's what I'm going to show you. So expect that in a short while. Great. So Eunice, yes, that's true. Google Fonts will really make your site look very professional. So yeah, that is awesome. I really look forward. So it will be a continuation of our assignment, yes, of that previous assignment. This one, where is it? Yeah, this one. I don't know if, let me open it in browser. Yeah, yes. So it is going to be a combination of this, but using Google Fonts, and we are going to make sure that you have you continue with it. But I just want to say I'm really proud of you again. Well done for reaching this far, and I've extended by 10 minutes, but I wish you all a nice week ahead. I'll make sure that I prepare your assignment very well. It's going to be very comprehensive. Share this recording with you, and you're going to just understand. In case you have any question, just let us know as we go along. Thank you, guys. Thank you as well, Salha, Harriet. I really appreciate you guys for taking the time. So, wow, thank you, guys. Thank you, Jane, Wendy. Fantastic. So I wish you guys a nice day ahead of you, and I'll see you again next time. Kwaherini.